Hey everyone, today what we are going to be doing is writing equivalent expressions using the distributive property. And we've already talked about the distributive property a lot. And the last lesson was about working backwards by factoring. So we've already used the distributive property, but today we're getting more in depth of just using the distributive property. So I am hoping that you see how to factor. We are looking for our factor that they have in common. They have a 3 in common, so that is what we're dividing out. We're dividing out a 3, and what is left is an x and a 3y. And how the distributive property works going forwards, so this is my answer, but how it works going forwards, what you're going to be practicing today, is going the other way, multiplying it back out. So instead of the factored form, it's going to be the product. 3 times x is 3x, and then you have to go this way. 3 times y is 9y. So we just showed that they were equivalent. They mean the same thing. So this presentation is new for you, but I have used this slide for many years. The first time I used it was in algebra, because algebra was the first time that it used to be they were exposed to the distributive property. So things have changed a little. So that's why I say it is used often. You need it for everything, including solving equations. So what it allows us to do is multiply over a set of parentheses. And I'm going to start with the area model so you can see what it looks like. So you know that with a rectangle, the rectangle to find the area, it's length times width. So we have our length right here, which is 4, and then our width is x plus another 2. So that's the factored way. That's what you did yesterday. That was what your final answer looked like yesterday. But the expanded is when you multiply it all out. So let's find the area of this rectangle first. 4 times x, so the length times the width is 4x. And then let's find the area of this. 4 times 2 is 8. So this shows us that the length times the width also equals the total area of 4x plus 8. And this is a visual way of showing the distributive property. So here, this red one first. Oops, let's do the length times the width first. Length times width. So my length is 5, and my width is 2x plus 1. And I'm hoping that you hear how loud you're being. So then let's do the total area. So the total area is the expanded way. So 5 times 2x is 10x. And then the area of this one is 5 times 1, which is 5. So we have 10x plus 5. 10x plus 5. So again, the distributive property allows us to multiply over the parentheses. So let's try some without the area model. I lied. Let's do a couple more with. So write an expression in expanded form that is equivalent to this. What is the factored expression, and then how do we rewrite it in expanded? So you're going to start with this one. Remember, that's the length times the width, and then you're going to do this one. So can you please pause the video and do this on your own? So I did, and now we are going to do. So you're going to check this one, try to see if you can do it, and then come back and check your work. Okay, how did you do? First I did my factored form. That's my length times my width. And then I rewrote it in expanded form. So I used the distributive property. Y times 4x is 4xy. Y times 5 is 5y. Notice the number always comes first. So the number always comes first, and that's called the coefficient. And then the variables are in alphabetical order. All right, so now it says create a model and then write another equivalent expression. So these are in factored form. So I'm actually going to, you can create the model, and I'll actually do the first one. So this would be the 3, and this would be the x and the y. So this is my model. But I'm going to talk about the distributive property without it. So we know that it is 3x and 3y. So we already know that it's this and then the 3x plus 3y. But here's the other way. It allows us, the distributive property allows us to multiply over the parentheses. But this is how I think of it. How many of you know what a player is? A player is someone, male or female, that goes from, let's say it's a male, goes from girl to girl to girl to girl to girl. So this player out here wants to make sure they dance with all the girls at the dance. So they go to the first one and then they go to the second one. And what these little guys mean is multiply. So you're multiplying over the parentheses. So 3x plus 3y. This way, we don't have to always write out the model. If you need to write out the model, that's fine until you get the hang of it. But this guy is the player, and you're going to multiply over the parentheses. So 4 times 2 times h is 8h. And 4 times g, remember we write as 4g. No symbols, so we're trying to write it with the least number of symbols. All right, so this one, I started to complete it in expanded form. So this is the length times the width. I started to write it, so you see if you can fill out the rest and then come back and check. All right, how did you do? So this is the player, and he's going with both. So I have my 3x, and then I needed to do 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times x is 5x. Least number of symbols. And then this last one, 10 times x is 10x. 10 times y is 10y. Again, I want you to pause the video and work through these problems on your own. And then come back and check. No.
No.
Okay.
No, what?
Oh, no, I just... All right, and so for this one, here is the player right here, and he wants to dance with everybody in the dance. So he's going to, oh, I never finished the last problem. I'm sorry. I'll finish this one and go back. So 4 times y is 4y. And yes, I really want you to draw these arcs because, again, the number one mistake is doing this and forgetting to go to the second one. 4 times 10 is 40. All right, back up here. We did the 50. Now we have to, this dance guy has to go over here. So 10 times x is 10x. Here's my dancer. I'm going to go 2 times x is 2x. 2 times y is 2. That's a distributive property. Please let me know if you have questions. We out.